Hey, I'm going to walk you through a demo of LakeView, which is the easiest way to monitor and get observability and insights on how to optimize your Apache Hudi tables. Today, we're going to look at how to deploy LakeView with the push model. So the push model is a great option if you want to just deploy a metadata extractor directly in your own environment and orchestrate it yourself, so you don't need to grant any permissions to Onehouse or LakeView to read the Hudi metadata. It can simply read that Hudi metadata all within your environment and then push that to the LakeView API automatically. So I've already gone through it. You'll see the boxes checked here, but we will actually walk through each of these steps now. If I go over to the LakeView docs, and this is just the LakeView GitHub repo, I can scroll down and click on the push model to navigate down here. So first thing I'll see is I need to create an API key. We can go in and click the first step here. This will take us to our API access tokens, and we can create a demo push model. We'll generate this token, and now I can just copy the API key and my API secret. All right, so now that we have these, we can go back to the home page, and the next step is to download a configuration file. Now, let's take a look at how we can actually deploy LakeView and why the configuration file matters. So if we look at the configuration file, we can see here for the push model, this gives a bunch of important information like client configuration. So LakeView can actually know information about our project. It can know our API key. We can then put in file system configuration. So this can actually tell LakeView where the Hudi tables live in our cloud storage. And then the metadata extractor configurations are also useful for setting up how LakeView will understand our tables and how often it will read, things like that. So these are all the configurations. Today we're actually going to deploy through Glue. So we'll use an AWS example here. And there's several ways you can deploy it. One option is you can download a jar and then just run that yourself and push the metadata. So you could run this anywhere that you want. This could be a Lambda function, could be just a cron job on EC2, you name it, whatever you want. Another option is you can install a Docker image, which will push metadata. And this is another easy way to do it if you're using Docker. Um, Today we're going to go with the jar option, and we're going to use AWS Glue because that gives us an easy way to just schedule jobs and run them and get observability for those jobs. We also give you a template for running the push model through Glue. So this makes it super easy. In fact, we don't actually have to fill in or download the configuration file when we're using Glue. We can simply copy this and then fill in all of the configurations here. So that's what we'll show you today. All right, so coming back, if we look at the steps, we went through this, and now we actually have to deploy it. So we'll go into the Glue steps. First is to download the jar file from the releases page. So let's download the jar file here. I'll open up the releases page. And since I'm using Glue, I need to use the Glue jar. So this is the LakeView Glue release all jar. I've already downloaded this. So now I just need to upload it to S3. Here I've got an empty bucket in S3, and I'll just go and upload that file. There it is. And this might take a moment because it's about 200 megabytes. So let's go back while this is uploading and we can look at the next steps. So the next step is to set up a Glue job. So we can go in here and I will create a new job, and we'll use the script editor to create this. We'll use Spark, and I'll name my job Andy Push Model Demo. We can actually delete all of this and then come back into the docs and just grab this sample code that we get. So what you need to do is just replace anything that has the $ here with the right config, and we can walk through how to do that. So first we want to pull the project ID from our LakeView project. I can click the top right here and grab that project ID directly from the UI. And then we can just replace this whole thing with that project ID. Now I'm going to grab my API key that I've saved, my API secret, and the user ID from the Onehouse console. All right, now for the file system configuration. So since I'm using S3, I'll just have to put in the S3 region, and we can grab that here. We're in US West 2, so I can put that in for the region. For the job run mode, since it's glue, we'll do once. If you are using some longer running compute like EC2, you can actually set this to continuous and it will kind of automatically run on a set cadence. But since glue is just ephemeral job runs, we can actually just do once and then we can schedule it through glue. Next, we have the parser config. So this is how you organize the data in Onehouse. The way that Onehouse organizes the data is lakes, and then databases under a lake, and then in a database you'll have your tables. So you can set your lake to anything you want. I'll call this demo lake push, and then same with database. We could have multiple databases under our lake, um, and I'll just do one database here. I'll call it demo db push. And then we have base paths. So if we have a bunch of tables, we could actually take like the parent path in S3 and set that, and LakeView will automatically go in and recursively read all the tables under that path. In this case, we just have one hoodie table, so we can grab this path. So this is our hoodie table. You see here we have all our partitions, we have the .hoodie folder, and what the push model will do is it'll just read that .hoodie folder and it will push all of that metadata to LakeView so LakeView can generate insights about this table. So now I've got the S3 path for the table that I want to process, and I can just replace the base path with that, and we'll just do one so we don't need multiple base paths. Okay, so we have all of the information here for the script, and now we'll go into the job details. I need to set an IAM role, so this just needs to have permission to read from S3. And then under advanced properties, I need to go in and I need to set that jar as the dependency. So this is now uploaded, and this is our glue jar that we had downloaded from the docs. And let's copy this S3 URI. We'll come back into glue and just paste this in. So now when I run this, it'll have all the dependencies. We have added all of our configurations. So I can just run the job here. And if I wanted to put this on a schedule, I could schedule it to run, let's say, every day, every hour, even more frequently if I want to have these insights as up to date as possible. And LakeView will always process the new metadata incrementally. So even if you were to run this, let's say, every minute, it won't be sending all of your metadata every run. All right, so that's about it. Now you've seen how we create the API key, set the configurations, and then deploy the metadata extractor tool, in this case using Glue, but of course you could use any other tool that you want. So once that metadata has finished uploading, you'll see this message here, and then you can click to view your tables in the LakeView console. That's it.